Hello everyone and welcome to another wee Joe Locke class. We're going to be doing a bit of lymph work today and the 7 Stars Rotations Qi Gong. Now, within the 7 Stars Rotations Qi Gong, there is actually a whole sequence which is pretty much devoted to lymph. But we're going to do a little bit more today. We're using a sequence called the Big Six, which is, I assume, a Western variation of a Qigong known as the 8 nests. So basically it's working on the lymphatic system and working on the lymph nodes. So we're going to begin. Did we salute? Let's salute. Thanks for coming. Let's begin with rubbing the hands together. And we're going to start actually with one of my exercises. So this isn't part of the Big Six, but I believe it's very useful. So we're going to take the fists to the breastbone and gently mobilize. And the way I'm doing that is turning from my center. Now you might think, well, why do you think that you should be adding to the Big Six? Well, it's really just a little bit more lymph work. I'm a lymph specialist. We can change direction, please. In the Emmett technique, that's what I've kind of gone towards over the years. So I'm borrowing a little bit of the knowledge from that. And basically all of the lymph drains down in this area. So when we mobilize this area, we're helping to clear the drain, so to speak. Let's give it a little bit of a pummel. Cupped hands gently over the chest. Now we're going into the Big Six itself, a sequence working on the lymph nodes, major lymph nodes. So we rub our hands again. And I'm going to ask you to take your right hand to your left shoulder blade. I am not mirroring for this. So take your right hand to your left shoulder and we're going to, you can use the other hand to brace the elbow if you like, but the idea is that you're gently stretching the flesh over the bone of the collarbone. We go one direction and then we can change direction. If you wanted, you could take both hands. So you could rub, if you want, you could rub over the skin and that will warm the area, but I want to get a little bit of a stretch and a release for any of the tissues so that the lymph can flow more freely. Good, so once you've done your rub, cup your hands again and make a clip-clop noise all the way across the collarbone. So above it, below it, that whole area. And you want at least 9 or 10 pats. If you look at the opening the 8 nests, and I'll give links to both these with two other videos explaining these things. Good, plant onto the collarbone and direct. Good, gently move. So if you look at the 8 nests, we're encouraged to pat each of the areas 30 times. And much as that is absolutely fine, I would not suggest that you do that in the first instance because it's very intense. That's the exercise we're working up to. So let's change direction. So 9 or 10 pats is plenty to be getting on with. If you look at Chinese numerology, they like to use their numbers. We'd look at 9 because traditional Chinese, they counted in multiples of 9 on abacuses. The tens and hundreds and all the rest were in a separate section of the abacus. So let's cup the hands and give it a good thump. Now it doesn't have to be powerful thumps, just lightly bounce is fine. I want you to go at what is comfortable and appropriate for your body. How does it feel? And that will tell you. Good, so we've done the main drain, we've done the 2 entrances into the main drain. Now we're going to look at the lymph in the head. So we're going to rub the hands again, and we're going to bring the hands behind the ears and gently stroke all the way down to the collarbone. So this is behind a muscle called the SCM, the sternocleidomastoid muscle. I'm not sure if my pronunciation is good because all of my teachers have always just said SCM. But anyway, this helps drain the lymph nodes behind the ear down into the main drain. If you want, you can do circular motions. So you could take the heel of your hand and just very gently from the back of your ear, circle forwards and down, forwards and down. So you're milking the lymph, gently guiding it down. If you don't like that, or if it just doesn't feel comfortable, if it's awkward, just stroke downwards, that's fine. Let's do the other side. So we've stroked downwards. Funny, I like to stroke downwards with both hands, but once I get into circles, I just do one side at a time. I can focus on it, I can feel into it, I can gauge the amount of pressure that feels right, which is not much, it's not a firm push. Good, and now we're going to do a little wiggle of the fingers like this to pitter-patter. You see it coming good. Yeah, so you're pitter-pattering behind the ear and down the neck. Good, so we don't want to be thumping our neck, that would be unwise. So gentle, gentle movement. Actually, if you look at a lot of manual lymph drainage, which I've also qualified in my time, it's very gentle. So we pitter-patter from the ear to the collarbone. We have superficial lymph nodes and lymph vessels that run just underneath the skin. And actually they respond very well to gentle touch. But if we really push and shove, we just squash them. We're not actually affecting them properly at all. So gentle and soft and rhythmical is the way to go. So let's rub again. Now we're looking at the auxiliary nodes, which sit underneath the armpit. So if you watch the video that I'll share with someone else doing it, they're doing it like this and just working around the armpit. Whereas I recommend lifting your arm over your head so that you can get in there to the crease of your arm and onto the chest itself. But be careful, we don't want to be pushing or grinding against breast tissue. We just want to get the flesh over the structures and give it a little stretch. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm stretching it, I'm adhering it and stretching it, rather than just rubbing, which I don't think does much. We can go to the top of the arm as well. So we're just giving everything a little bit of movement. Good, and then cup your hands and again, give everything a bit of a pat. And just be careful again, breast tissue doesn't really like to get thumped. So just try to get the armpit and the side of your body and the top of your arm. Well done. Over to the other side, get into the crease of the arm, onto the pectoral muscles, moving that flesh around. Now, the reason we're doing this is agitating the system a little bit, kind of like sticking your hand into a riverbed and agitating the bed so that it's pushing up the gunk that has been laid down. So we're just agitating, we're just getting everything a little bit mobile, but we're also stretching the fascia. And the fascia, let's do a cupping pat. Fascia is like a cobweb, literally like a cobweb. It's very fine fibers, very, very fine indeed. And they're little white things and they're sticky, just like cobweb, and they stick to each other. So if any part of our body hasn't had movement for any length of time, those sticky fibers start to really mat together, and that adherence, it's adhesions, then reduces the flow of energy. So really a happy system is a system that is able to move freely. So anything that is restricted, we want to gently mobilize. We want to get it moving, including the tissues itself, not just our joints, not just our limbs, so that energy can flow and so that our lymph can easily be pumped and moved away. Because the lymph doesn't have a pump of its own. Most of the lymphatic system relies on physical movement and the movement of our arteries pumping. The fibers sit alongside, the tubes sit alongside the blood vessels, and so they kind of piggyback on the movement of the blood vessels. We also, every time we breathe, we're giving ourselves a bit of a lymphatic drainage because again, that's movement. So it's helping everything to be pumped along through breath. The lymph nodes, the lymph vessels do have valves. So once it's gone towards the main drain, it won't go backwards, but sometimes we get backed up fluid, and that's where the edema comes into play, the swollen ankles, the swollen legs, the swollen arms. Wherever something is swollen, that's lymph that has got stuck. So this all helps with that. We've just done the armpits, but it's kind of obvious, isn't it? If you've put deodorant on, it's like plugging all of your pores, and that is causing more toxicity for your body to have to deal with. So actually, I would recommend not using deodorant at all. Washing regularly so that you're nice and fresh and clean, but not be putting things that are designed to stop the natural function of your body. That's only going to make things worse. Anyway, back to our little sequence. So now we're looking at the abdomen. Now, don't do anything for a second. Normally, we would rub our hands and we would adhere to the abdomen and then mobilize the flesh around over the structures on the belly. And it's very effective, actually, at releasing any nasty adhesions. However, we're actually working with folks who have some nerve damage in that area, and so agitating the area would agitate the problem. So there's always an alternative, and this is a really useful nugget. There's always another way to approach your Tai Chi. So if one door is firmly closed to you, no worries, use another door. So what we're going to do today, instead of adhering to the tissue, we're going to do a little movement called Sunshine Fills the Halls. And this is, as you see, not even touching the belly. We're simply gently thinking of rotating. Now we are doing a little movement from center, and we're doing it on the vertical plane. So the movement in center is moving the hands. So you see, we are moving the tissue, but we're not literally pushing it. We're not physically manipulating it with our hands, but you're getting an internal movement, and the presence of the hands is bathing the area in energy. It's helping the energy to focus in this area. Let's change direction. Now, if it was painful to do this little rotation from center, we could make an exception and just move the hands. Now that goes against the rules of Tai Chi. However, safety and well-being is my first interest, even beyond the rules of Tai Chi. So if it's uncomfortable to move from center even slightly, then yes, you can hold the center still and just bathe your belly in the energy of your hands. And if you're thinking, I can't feel anything, listen, can you notice the warmth of your hands or the presence of your hands? There's an actual sense devoted to knowing where your body parts are, but I can't remember the name, it's a fancy name. But anyway, you're listening and feeling for the presence of your hands, and the warmth or any sensation that you feel from that, that is your own energy. So of course, you'll be able to feel your own energy, or you stand a chance of it, because it's all part of the one system. Good, well done, and relax. So just take a moment and breathe into your belly. Again, we're not going to do the drum roll that I normally ask you to do, because again, I think if there are damaged nerves there, that would not go down well. But we can just breathe and feel into the center. And again, the awareness guides the energy to the area, and the energy brings strength to the area. Very good. So let's release and relax down. Next, we move on to the inguinal nodes. So these are the lymph nodes that sit at the tops of the legs. And again, be a bit gentle, because if you do have that nerve damage, this is quite close. Even though it's not on the belly, you're close to the belly. But we're actually going to sink the fists, if you can, into the crease of the legs. And my way of doing this again is to move my body, which gives my arms strength and moves my arms rather than just drilling my arms into the crease. Now, again, if this was an issue, what you could do is just bring your hands to the area and breathe into it. It would bring energy into the area, and to a certain extent, the tissues will melt as you breathe and relax, even without this mobilizing. Good, let's go to the other side and get into the crease of the leg and gently move it around. Good, and breathe. I love this sequence. I'm trying to do it every day. I think it's very, very useful. Okay, so now we come to the pummeling section. Again, if you're concerned, if it's too close to delicate areas, you can just hold the crease and breathe into the warmth of your hands. That physical touch guides the energy, guides the awareness, which guides the energy, which guides your strength. So just bringing your awareness to an area with touch can be very potent. However, if you're happy to, you can try doing a few gentle strikes with the blades of your hands to the crease of your legs. And I think a minimum you'd want to do 3 strikes and a maximum 30 strikes, but I would build it up. See how you get on, because this is deep work. You're really reaching in to all the areas that deal continuously with infection and with cancer cells and all the things that your body really wants to get rid of. And you're getting in there, like walking into the barracks and saying, okay, attention, and start cleaning the bathroom with your toothbrush. It's a really deep inspection and G up into the barracks. Basically, your lymphatic nodes are like sentinels where all the gunk and yuck and everything gets tidied away before it even gets to the main drain. So we want to, we want to stimulate, but we don't want to exacerbate. We don't want to really annoy our system. So we've done the crease. Now we go down to the popliteals. So this is the backs of the knees. Again, just be mindful, in order to get here, you have to bend your body. So just see if that's comfortable for your for yourself. And we want to rub the back of the knees, the popliteals, and a little bit of a thumb. Good, and release. So, as I say, I like to embellish the big 6, because there are other lymph nodes that we have not yet covered. And one of them is the harmony, if you like, to the knees. So there is a smaller lymph node set in the crook of our arms. So let's now rub our hands together. You can always, if you want, go back to our first ones where we're rubbing the chest and giving it a bit of a pummel, and the collarbones. Remember, that's the main drain. Everything comes to there before it goes to the digestive system until it gets redirected to the various places. But then let's have a look at the crook of the elbow. Keep the elbow slightly bent and give it a wee rub. Or again, you're sort of shifting the flesh over the various structures. Good, and on the other side, getting in there, having a wee root around, moving the flesh. Good. Good, lovely. Okay, so that's the big 6 with bells on. I have added the center of the chest movement and the arm crease ones. I'd also like to do a wee bit of like a full lymph sequence. We're going to do some sinus work now, and it's called washing without water. So if you like to, you can come forwards maybe to see this. We're going to rub the hands again. So this is continuing the lymph work for the head, the brain, the face, all those sinus cavities. So we start with the chin, and we massage up and over to the forehead and down and round. So that's your first movement. And it has a nice wakeful effect. It helps you to refresh whenever your system feels it's got rid of its toxins, you'll end up feeling nice and fresh. Good. So 3 to 9 times is enough of each one. We rub again. I wouldn't do 30 of each, you'd be there all day. So we start again the same way, but this time we go up and over the scalp, behind the ears, and down the throat. Recognize it's that same drain that we're doing. So again, we go up and over the face, over the scalp, behind the ears, and down the drain. And one more time. Beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to rub again. And this is your fix your wig section. So we're going to get the fingers into the scalp and move your wig around. And then try a different position and move your wig around. Or like you're trying to scratch your wig without actually, scratch your head through your wig without taking the wig off. I know none of us are wearing wigs, but you know what I mean. We are again moving the flesh across the bone. And in doing so, we are releasing any little fascia adhesions and we are helping to give the lymph a little bit of direction. Good. So another version of that, you can rub again. This is my second time through it, so my hair's getting a bit frayed, but anyway. The other version that I know is to take your hands to your scalp and adjust your wig like this. See what I mean? So you're just shifting the flesh over your scalp as if you were fixing your wig. And just get your hand in all directions. Of course, if you are having a particularly painful day, if you're working with injury or conditions, you can do this stuff. You can do the stuff that isn't anywhere near the places that hurt. And actually, it will still help because if one area is fresher, then the whole area benefits, especially our brains. If our brain is happy and has got rid of its gunk, everything feels better for it. So let's rub again, please. And now we're looking at specific pressure points. So we go either side of the widest point of the nose and we take the middle fingers away. So that gives you the fingers directly underneath your eyeball. And it's up at the top of your gum line where it meets the rest of your skull. There's that little crook in between. And we just gently drill into that point one way and then the other. Or an alternative is to just push directly into it, which is quite uncomfortable. But just for a few seconds, 3 seconds is enough, and then let go. And just for a moment, you get little dimples. So now we rub again, and we're going to go to just above the bridge of your nose and circle. So you're pinching and you're circling your hands, your thumb and first finger. And we circle one way and then the other. That's how I was taught. But if you go down and out, like you're spreading out, that will milk your sinuses. So one way is more useful for draining the sinuses than the other. Good. And any of that sort of fleshy, paddy part, that's lymph, that's sinuses. And if they are very squashy, that suggests that there's lots of lymph in there. So you can just give it all a bit of a movement. You could use your thumbs if you wanted like that. Very good. You maybe want to keep a tissue handy for this because sometimes you just get blah, it just floods. But that's brilliant because that's showing that it has been stuck and it's shifting. So now we rub again and we go underneath the eyebrow corners. So when we work on lymph, we're working on our immune system. We're helping our body fight infections and clear away the gunk that is just waiting to go. Good, so you can circle one way then the other. Again, I find the in and down is the most beneficial for draining the sinuses. Good, and then we're going to borrow from the Emmett technique for a moment and we're going to pinch the brow ridge itself, pinch the bone and press in and release, and then go into the mid eyebrow area and again pinch the bone and press in and release. And again, that's directing the lymph down. Let's rub again. We're nearly there, folks. We go on to the temples, and it's similar to the adjust your wig, but this time I use symmetrical movement, and we're circling one way and the other. And actually, your lymph wraps all the way around your head, the little vessels, so it doesn't really matter which way you go. You're still directing the lymph down and away with that one. Good, and we rub again. We now pinch the ears. So this is not a direct lymph movement, but rather it's refreshing for your entire system. So your ears have pressure points that stimulate every part of your body. It's a reflexology access point, just like your hands and your feet. So just pinch everything, and if there's any tenderness, not from infection, but just, you know, there's a, oh, that's a bit tender, give it a little bit more attention. You don't have to push hard, but just give it a wee moment or two, and give the ears a wee pull. And this is helping the circulation to all of your organs, which in turn helps the lymph to drain. Good, so let's now rub behind the ears. So before we were going from the backs of the ears and down, now we're going to the actual little lymph nodes themselves, and we're going to give them a bit of a rub. You'll be well and truly cleansed today. This is a real detox. And rub again. And finally, we have the back of the neck. We take hold of the back of the neck and gently draw towards the spine. And the same on the other side. Not sure if you can see. Take hold and gently pull the flesh across. Sometimes you'll get a kind of popping sensation. That's the ligament nuchae. And if you get the pop, that's brilliant. It shows that you're releasing tension. And if you do the move again, you probably won't get the same pop the second time because it will have released. Go gently if you want to. It doesn't have to be a hard movement. Just giving everything a wee stretch. Good. Now that's the last of the movements for the head area. Now we're going to, I just got off my knees there. Now we're going to rub the hands together and we're going to the kidneys. So we bend the knees a little bit, release the tailbone down and give your kidneys a jolly good rub. Good. Now, a lot of the digestive system, plays a lot of a big role in the lymphatic system, but so does the waterworks, that you're actually peeing out toxins when you do lymphatic work as well. So when we stimulate the kidneys and give them a wee bit of love and a wee bit of warmth, it really helps the lymphatic system as well. Good job. And as you know, the kidneys are really important for our general health. We want them to be happy. We want to give them a little bit of stimulation every day, as well as drinking plenty of fluids. We just want to manually wake them up a bit and give them some love. So there you go. That was the big 6 with my little added extras, and washing without water, which is a traditional Qi Gong practice. Now the big 6, as I say, I think it's a Western interpretation of the 8 nests. So I'll share little links on the video so that you can do your own research if you're interested in that. But that's our warm-up. Now we're going to have a drink, if you can, if you have a drink handy. No, I don't. Oh, yes, I do. So, it is good to flush the system straight away. And you may notice that you might feel thirsty or dehydrated after that work, but it is just literally because you're asking your system to flush. So replenish that water. Cheers. Good. And if you are feeling really thirsty and if water isn't doing it, I recommend a little bit of vinegar in your water is excellent. And actually salt, I know salt is considered to be the evil thing in modern times, but it's really important that we have a little bit of salt. So if you do find that you are retaining water, it may well be because your sodium is out of balance. And I know we're told to avoid salt, but that's because a lot of foods that are pre-prepared contain salt. So there's enough if you're eating 1 or 2 pre-prepared things a day for most people, but do look to your salt. And I would recommend like sea salt or Himalayan pink salt as opposed to your table salt, which has the anti-caking stuff in it, which is the thing actually that's much more dangerous for the heart. It's not necessarily the salt itself, or so I'm told by folks in the know. Good, okay, so let us move on now. We'll do our 7 stars rotations. If we open our stance to shoulder width and level, I missed out something. After you do lymph work, do your Bai Bing Xiao, 100 ailments go away. So we're going to do a spring forest Qi Gong version where we lift the hands up and let the wrists droop. And we're going to bounce. Now, if you can't bounce your whole body, think of bouncing your shoulders. This is the idea that you're pumping the lymph. Now, if this hurts, don't do it. You don't have to do it. It's just a way of pumping the lymph after we have done all that lymph work. Good, and relax, swing the arms down. So the heel taps are called 100 ailments go away. And having the hands up and wobbling is also like a pump, draining the arms and mobilizing the qi. Any sort of wrist movement is mobilizing qi and stimulating meridians. But if that exercise didn't suit you, don't do it, because we're about to do a whole bunch of movement pumping the lymph. But if you were just to do the lymph sequence, do the Bai Bing Xiao, or do the first couple of movements of the 7 stars to get the lymph moving. So let's do 7 stars. Let's lengthen up, please, through the top of the head, the chin slightly down and back. We'll just take a few moments to breathe and calm and let go. Good, so let's lengthen the fingers gently down and scoop. Deliver forwards and lift into center. Through to the back. Good, keep going. Resting level with center, check posture. Relax into your belly. Movement 2. As I say, if you have issues with nerves in the abdomen, then this rotation could be a bit much. So all things being equal, we would be looking for about 45-degree turn on both sides. But if that's uncomfortable, I'd like you to aim for about 20 degrees. It can be really subtle. It could be 5 degrees if you can manage it, and it just becomes a much smaller ball. But you'll notice the smaller your movement, the more intense it becomes. So you can have a little play with this. Even if you're perfectly fine, you can have a little play with doing the ball at different sizes. So different degrees of turn. And what you'll notice is the bigger the movement, the more general it feels. And the smaller the movement, the more intense. It's like a focused beam of light. So small, if you're going small and if you're doing it because of discomfort, you must go very, very gently. Good, so let's change direction, please. So similar to seated work, I often say to people, if you're seated, you have to do a lot less. You have to work a lot less hard. Because your hips are stuck to the chair, there's very little give in the hips. And so any movement will feel more intense. So have a play with it, try a little bit smaller, maybe try making it into a spiral rather than a circle, so you can get smaller and smaller until you feel the optimal size of movement for you. And then we can change direction and we can spiral it out again. So there's lots of variations we can use to play with to suit our needs and just to attune our awareness on a more acute level, that we're really aware and in control as much as we can be of our movement while letting go. Good, let's turn the palms, draw in, float up, and again, have a little experiment. Try it small, very small, and see how it feels. And then see if you can go a little bit bigger, spiral it out. See if you can find your optimal movement. Good, let's change direction. Again, if we're working with an injury, we want to cover the material, but without bombarding our system. So just do what you can comfortably when you've had enough. Enough is enough, that's fine. Good, so we've tried some different sized movements there. Let's come back to center, movement 3. We gather the energy. Here's your lymphatic work. We draw the energy towards the forehead and to the eyebrow corners, feeling down the face and neck. We open the main drain and direct the energy down. Keep the body upright, point the fingers beyond the feet and round. We come all the way up. Good, and cover center. Let's check posture and relax the belly. So say if we were seated, and if you have pain here, folding forwards is not necessarily going to help at all. And when we're doing it standing, we're trying to avoid the fold forward. So rather what you can do is literally think of directing your energy around your feet as extended energy from your fingertips. And that is actually quite an advanced Qi Gong technique. It is not that you're shooting laser beams out of your fingers, but you're expanding your awareness beyond the tips of your fingers. So let's do it again, please. Check posture and relax to center and so stay upright as best you can, around the feet, up the back of the legs. Good. And if you are seated, obviously the chair will be in the way. So you just kind of indicate to your energy, go around the chair. Let's check posture and we'll do that exercise one more time. Relaxing down into your center. Ready, and good, checking posture and releasing, relaxing into the center. This is also part of Tai Chi, is the rest between exercises. It's not just waiting for another exercise. We want to feel into our posture. We want to release and relax through all of the structures. And if there is pain or discomfort, we want to actually tune into it, feel it, and let go through it. Now, normally pain is an indication that we're doing a movement wrong. However, if you have a chronic pain issue, it may just be there, but we don't want to ignore it. We want to accommodate and work within doable parameters. So keep listening, keep feeling, keep letting go. Good, and we relax the arms gently down. Very good, and we're going to go into our little centering move. So this is called Heaven and Earth Rotations. Good. You can do as many or as few of these as you like. Again, all movement in Tai Chi comes from center, which does give you a strong core and helps reduce any effort required. However, if moving your center is painful, then that creates a little dilemma. What I would do is keep moving from center, but work very hard on relaxing and making it as subtle a movement as humanly possible. And that is advanced. If you watch our Grandmaster Chen, it's actually very difficult to see that he is moving from center because it's so smooth and so subtle. But that is the core of Tai Chi practice. If we forget or ignore this concept, we're not really getting the benefits of Tai Chi. Good, okay, so let's flip our toes, please, to our northeast. And we're going to do our choo-choo train. And again, this is an exercise in subtle, small, and relaxed. So we're doing our little wobble, if you like, a rotation from left to right. And we're going to start cycling the hands like you're rolling a ball between them. Starting from the tailbone, sit the tailbone down, fill the small of your back, and we'll gently walk up the back. Now, I'll not ask you to do 33 today, but just see if you can walk up each little zone of your spine. That's the focus of the dragon exercise, is to walk up your spine until you feel you're at the base of the skull, and then we flip the toes and turn the palms down, turn the palms up, come underneath your arm, along the line of your arm to make a circle, and flip your hands and calm down, a little half step. Good, so that's your tiger exercise, and it's very calming, it's soft. Right hand under, expand, rotate, and step. Everything smaller, and expand, so your lower arm comes up. Now again, if turning your waist is an issue, I just want you to indicate slightly more that you're going forwards towards your left foot. Release your back foot and step. So if you're seated, you don't need to do any steps at all. Relax down, and again, the idea is you're filling your back and you're expanding. If you can do the twist as well, great. If not, don't worry. So we float up, and we go over, and come in. And step back, and float up, and we come over, and we come in. Let's come side by side. Now we have the snake exercise. We turn the toes to southeast, and turn the waist. Your right hand forwards and up, your left hand down and back. Again, this is a deep twist. So go gently as you press your hands away from center. Release, circle hand like a lasso, and we turn and we do the same on the other side. Left hand forwards and up, right hand down and back, look over the shoulder, gently press the hands away. and release, return to the center. We cross the hands and lift and sit back, fill your back, your whole back. Lengthen up through the top of the head and bring the chin slightly down and back. So you should feel your whole body stretching. And make sure your hands are in line with your feet. They're not wider, they're not narrower, they're in line. That will give you your best result. And release. Well done. Let's turn out the right foot, release the left foot. I'm thinking of doing this forwards so that you can see, but maybe not. We'll do it the way it's meant to be. So we're turned to the southeast again, to your left corner. We step and step through. Roll back, float up. Sorry, I've got something. Oh dear, poor wee thing. What's it called? A slug got into the kitchen and I just stood on it. Sorry about that. Poor wee thing. Sorry, let's do that again. It maybe came in on a lettuce. Right, so from here, ready? So we step and step through. We roll towards the back foot, float up, release, and square up, step and step through. Now just follow me, don't worry too much if you get lost. Block and step back and pierce. Block, step back, and pierce. Now you want your left foot forwards here. You're going to take a small half step and cycle the arms. Again, gently, this is quite an intense stretch. Cycle the arms and step. Cycle the arms, half step. Cycle the arms and step. Cycle the arms and half step. Good, turn in. And we're going to step right, block the right hand up, left hand in front of the chest, extend forwards. Let's slide down and do that on the other side. So we step left, block the left hand up, right hand comes in front of the chest, half step and rise. And we'll do it one more time, ready? Slide down, step, block, and rise. Well done. That's your fire. Now we have the earth element. So this is turnable. Again, if it feels too intense, this time actually you might try a little bit lower and that will probably be less intense. And again, you don't have to turn very far. You could really keep it within the shape of your body, not even going beyond. So you do what you can comfortably. This is an unspoken rule in Tai Chi. The spoken rule is nature is the first principle, but it pretty much translates as the same thing. If you're in pain, you're going against your nature, which is not going to help you. So you do what you can comfortably. Well done, bring the left side in. Good. Now, movement 6, what fun. This has us turning, and I'm aware one of us in the group is seated, so you'll not be able to turn. So let's do a version without turning. So we'll go into our horse stance and we'll do our scoops again. So movement 6 starts the same way that movement 5 finishes. Good. And we're going to swing the arms down and up, round in a circle and open. Good. And then hand and foot is open. Now we come back the way we came. We come up and we swing down and up and open. And the second time, we just bring the hands round in front. So let's do that again. So we swing. Doesn't actually matter which way we go. We're doing variations. So we swing up and open. Let's come back up the way we came and swing up and open. And the second time we bring the hands down in front. So let's do our scoops and then our swings. Ready? So we scoop, 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 Let's swing up and open, back the way we came, swing up and open. And this time we come down the front. Good. Let's continue with the second section. So here we cross the wrists. So if you're turning to your right, if you're turning to your left, you bring your right hand across the wrists. Again, this might feel quite intense for your core if you have issues there. So you might just want to keep the hands pretty much in front of you rather than turning your waist too much, but just an indication of turning center to come across. So we're circling the arms now. Imagine that you've turned a steering wheel until your arms are crossed. Then you're going to untwist, turn the steering wheel. And we just turn the waist a little bit more to do the same thing on the other side. So we circle and we come across. And we circle and we come across. And I actually think that Master Locke, his movement is smaller than mine. Now he is a little smaller than I am, but, or maybe the same height, very compact Master, but his movements are quite compact as well. So it's not necessarily to do with your body size. The smaller your movement, the more intense the energy is focused. Good. Good, okay, well done. All right, so just for those who want to practice their full movement 6, I'm going to show you it in full. You can sit and watch if you prefer, or you can join in, but we'll do the full of movement 6. And because it is turning, I think it's easiest if I do the same as you, so we'll do the back view. So we're going to do our scoops. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to lift the left toes and turn out, step through right to open left, and then come back the way we came, left arm up, step back right and swing, lift the right toes, step through left and open to the right, and keep turning in that direction, step through left, to then do the cross steps, and you can step forwards as you come across, and you can step back as you come across. And then to the other side, I always like to step and cross the front leg. And then as you step back, again, you're crossing the front leg. But you can play with it until you find your own rhythm. That is movement 6 in its entirety. Okay. So movement 7 is our circle walking, and yeah, it's lovely. It takes time. Let's just throw it in there, and if you're seated, you can just watch. Again, remember that it's never just watching. If you're paying attention, you can think of how does that feel to do that, and remember, if you're visualizing how something feels, visualize how it feels if everything is functioning perfectly. So you don't imagine the pain that you would expect if you're in chronic pain. You imagine yourself doing it perfectly, and therefore you will send happier signals, healthy signals, rather than unpleasant ones around your body. Okay, so let's have a go at our circle walking. We're going to have the heels together. We lengthen up and relax down. Take a moment and calm. Stretching the fingers down. We're going to scoop in and under. Good. Now, I'm not going to mirror here. So my right hand, your right hand is coming under, left hand on top. Are you going to turn the ball over and push your left heel out? Swing the left hand forwards and up towards the center of your circle and release your right foot. So then you're going to start walking around. We step on the front foot and step through, turn in. Step the outside, turn in the inside. Forwards, turn in, forwards, turn in, release. Same on the other side. So we start with the outside, go straight, inside foot turns in, go straight, inside foot turns in, go straight, inside foot in, go straight, inside foot turns in, and we could go again, shall we? Try. Off you go. Turn in. I'm lost. Turn out. There we go. And off you go. And rest. Well done. Now, I really struggle with circle walking, but it's new to me. And that's what it's like for everyone. If you're new to Tai Chi, it's going to be difficult. This is a different thing from Tai Chi. It's actually a different modality of internal Chinese martial arts. So of course it's going to be difficult, but hey, it's very much worth the effort. Now that's the 7-star position that we're using. This hand pointing to elbow and the other hand reaching towards the center of the circle. But Master Locke teaches Bagua, he's a Bagua master. So he has movements like the hard exercise. You could do that as you travel around in the circle. The idea with circle walking is you're creating a vortex. So you can see there, if you're doing that, you're creating a double vortex, a vortex within a vortex. There's all sorts. He showcased a whole bunch of palm positions or arm positions after the educational instructions that he gave us. So you could do, I think that's called eagle, walk around with your arms extended towards the center of the circle like that. There's dragon, there's the lion's mouth. There's all sorts of beautiful wee variations that you can use while walking around in the circle. So I suppose you'd get bored just walking around in circles forever and ever. But if you add different arm movements, you stretch different parts of the body, you express different energy through the body, and it's really lovely. So well done. Let's finish off today, please, with a little shake out. Let's breathe in, lengthen up and a little to one side so that we can release and relax the arm. Shake and twist. Good. Every time you move, it's good to know that we are influencing our lymph. We're helping it to drain. So let's float up and over to the other side. Twist and a shake. Good, and float up and relax down into your center. Let's take a deep breath and relax down. And again, deep breath. Relax down. One more time, deep breath and hold your breath at the top. Press your toes into the floor. Think of sealing in your good energy and release, relax, and guide your hands to cover center. Let's check posture and breathe, relax into your center. Beautiful. Well done today, folks, and thank you so much for joining me. Let's take right hand in fist, left hand straight, and we press forwards. Good stuff. Keep practicing. Remember, you don't have to do a full class. Even a few minutes a day makes a huge difference. So thank you and see you next time.